To reach the Kermanshah province in western Iran, you have to cross the Zagros Mountains. And right along the ancient trade routes cutting through these peaks sits Mount Bisotun. This rock face is one of the most studied surfaces in the world. Its reputation stems from the specific text carved into the limestone, which provided the first readable record of the region's lost languages. This is the Behistun Inscription. In 522 BC, the Persian king Darius the Great ordered this massive relief carved into the stone. It shows him stepping on an impostor, holding captured rebels, and receiving the blessing of the god Ahura Mazda. Around this scene, he had the exact same proclamation carved in 3 different languages: Old Persian, Elamite, and Babylonian. By comparing these columns in the 1830s, British officer Sir Henry Rawlinson figured out how to read Old Persian. This breakthrough allowed scholars to translate other cuneiform scripts across the region, from Babylon to Nineveh. Knowing this history, most travelers arrive expecting a museum-like experience. You anticipate walking right up to the stone, inspecting the 2,500-year-old chisel marks, and getting a clear, eye-level photo of Darius. Because every textbook calls Bisotun the Rosetta Stone of Asia, the site carries the weight of massive expectations. You travel here expecting a close-up encounter with a world-changing artifact. But here is the physical reality on the ground. Darius didn't want his monument vandalized, so he had the stonecutters carve it 100 meters up a sheer limestone cliff and then destroy the ledge they stood on. Because of that extreme height and the thick metal scaffolding often installed to protect the rock from water damage, you cannot actually see the details of the relief or the cuneiform with the naked eye. This creates a serious travel dilemma. You are looking at a multi-hour detour deep into the Kermanshah province, away from the standard Iranian tourist trail, only to stare up at a distant, obscured square of rock. If you come here just for the Darius inscription, you will likely leave disappointed. The actual return on investment at Bisotun requires pulling your focus away from that single high-altitude carving and exploring the 116-hectare archaeological park sprawling out beneath it. To get the value out of this detour, you have to trade the desire for a perfect up-close photo op for a willingness to hike the mountain's base and piece together the site's broader, layered history. Looking out from the slopes, you can see the true scale of the Bisotun complex. It covers over 280 acres of paths, natural springs, and ruins right at the foot of the mountain. This animated map illustrates how thousands of years of human occupation share this exact same geographic footprint. Prehistoric hunters, Achaemenid kings, Seleucid governors, Sassanid architects, and Safavid merchants all built directly on top of each other's work. A short walk from the Darius relief sits this Seleucid-era contribution. Carved in 148 BC, it is a stone statue of the Greek hero Hercules resting on a lion skin holding a bowl. It is a direct physical record of the Silk Road's cultural collision. Left behind by Alexander the Great's successors, the carving blends a traditional Greek mythological figure with Persian artistic details, like the specific treatment of the hair and the bowl resting behind him. Further along the cliff face, you find the largest unfinished rock relief in Iran, left by the Sassanid Empire. Known as Farhad Tarash, this is a massive, smoothed rectangular cut spanning 200 meters across the rugged limestone. The Sassanid kings abandoned the project before carving anything into it. Over the centuries, Persian literature filled that blank space with the myth of Farhad, a tragic architect who supposedly carved the mountain away out of unrequited love for Queen Shireen. Taking the time to locate these scattered monuments provides an immersive, multi-empire timeline that you simply cannot get from staring up at the distant Achaemenid relief alone. The archaeological zone doesn't sit behind velvet ropes in a vacuum. It bleeds directly into the living, modern environment of the Kermanshah province. At the edge of the site sits the Shah Abbasi caravanserai. Built during the Safavid era as a fortified way station for merchants and pilgrims, the square brick complex still functions today as a traditional hotel. Staying here drops you into the active local culture. You are surrounded by Kurdish hospitality, local hikers tackling the Zagros trails, and vibrant tea houses operating in the shadow of the mountain. But that historical charm exists right alongside heavy industry. Look past the caravanserais, and you will see the smokestacks of petrochemical plants and sugar factories encroaching on the borders of the heritage site. That modern proximity comes with severe environmental threats. Rainwater infiltration and aggressive lichen growth are actively anchoring into the limestone, slowly eating away at the delicate cuneiform and rock reliefs. Bisotun is a gritty, working heritage site. It forces you to look at antiquity not as a sterile, preserved bubble, but as a fragile record actively fighting for survival against modern industry and nature. Should you detour from the Tehran-Isfahan-Shiraz triangle? Let's map it out. If your goal is pristine, ancient architecture, skip Bisotun and visit Persepolis instead. But if you value digging into layered history, local culture, and epic landscapes, this detour is the right choice. If you do commit, come prepared. You must bring a pair of high-quality binoculars. It is the only way to successfully bypass the 100-meter physical distance and actually see the figures on the Darius relief. Next, hire a local guide. The Parthian and Seleucid ruins are scattered widely across the park and are poorly signed. A guide ensures you don't walk right past 2,000-year-old carvings. Finally, time your visit strictly for the spring or the fall. The Zagros mountain climate delivers brutal extremes, and hiking in peak summer heat or winter snow will ruin the experience. Bisotun demands significantly higher upfront logistical preparation than a standard Iranian tourist site. But for the properly equipped traveler, it guarantees a significant return on the effort. Ultimately, understanding Bisotun requires zooming out. This location functioned as a primary node on the ancient Great Khorasan Road. The trade-off is clear. You are giving up an easy photo opportunity in exchange for a demanding physical and intellectual journey. There are no manicured museum exhibits here to hand-feed you the narrative. Bisotun explicitly forces you to walk the grounds, observe the rock, and actively piece the timeline together yourself. Standing at the base of this mountain, you are occupying the exact geographical bottleneck where multiple empires, religions, and languages violently and culturally converged for millennia. And that historical spirit remains unbroken today, sustained by modern Kurdish hospitality, the surviving caravanserai, and the constant flow of traffic. For those who make the journey, Bisotun remains a vertical archive of human ambition, carved directly into the limestone of the Iranian plateau.